Enough! That's essentially the opening battle cry of the highly aggressive, deeply technical manifesto we are looking at today. We're diving straight into a blistering critique of big tech's data harvesting. This isn't your standard, corporate, we value your privacy white paper. No, this document treats data sovereignty as a matter of absolute digital survival. We're going to unpack exactly what this manifesto, which introduces a platform called Xpenv, claims, the disturbing math it uses to build its case, and the extreme cryptographic solutions it proposes.
So, let me ask you a question the source material throws right in our faces. Do you actually think your free apps are safe? It's a brutal question. You wake up, drop a good morning in the family group chat, and you probably assume it costs you absolutely nothing, right? Well, the author of this manifesto argues that this is the single most dangerous assumption of the modern digital age.
And here is their blunt, unyielding answer. They aren't safe. You are the product. The text argues that you're paying for these supposedly free services with your soul, your daily habits, your locations, your fears, and your desires. The document makes it crystal clear. Big tech companies aren't actually connecting you anymore. They are surveillance empires tracking you, profiling you, and selling those profiles to the highest bidder.
Let's move right into Section 1, the market of your intimacy and the illusion of free. Listen to this number, 16 billion. The source states this is the projected number of leaked logins in the year 2025 alone. To put that into perspective, that is literally twice the population of planet Earth. The manifesto details a terrifying 300% spike in compromised records recently, pointing out that data breaches can cost up to $10 million, especially in healthcare, where human lives and deep medical secrets are exposed. And by 2030, the data market value is projected to hit an eye-watering $519 billion. The author contextualizes this by pointing out it's bigger than the combined GDP of Portugal, Greece, and New Zealand. And the manifesto asks a really pointed question here. Where do you think all this money comes from? It comes from you, from your intimacy. The source even claims a shocking number of tech managers actually think selling user credentials is justifiable. Wild, right?
But this next stat is definitely the most alarming. The source cites that 70% of analyzed private dialogues contain personal identifiable data that's being used to train AI. Let that sink in. The manifesto paints a grim picture. People are feeding their most intimate conversations and even confidential industrial secrets to the very machines that might one day take their jobs. You are literally feeding the thing that might replace you.
This brings us to a really emotional pivot in the text. It describes a computer science student who looked at all this surveillance math, felt utterly disgusted, and realized something dark. As the quote says, "We are cattle, oxen in the pasture." In the eyes of big tech, we're just grazing, totally oblivious, fattening up their multi-billion-dollar system. And it was this visceral disgust that sparked the creation of Xpenv, not as a Silicon Valley startup, but as an uncompromising, pure code protocol.
Which leads us directly to Section 2, the rebellion, featuring 3 layers of extreme protection.
The manifesto breaks down its defense into 3 unbreakable layers. Layer 1, AES 256 GCM. We're talking military-grade, U.S. government top-secret standard cryptography. Before your message even leaves your browser, it's scrambled into absolute garbage bytes. Layer 2 is the stellar blockchain. Those ciphered bytes are recorded on a public, immutable network. There is literally no central server to hack and no central company to sue.
But Layer 3 is where the true revolution happens, according to the text. They call it payment is key. See, unlike normal mainstream apps that hold or generate your decryption keys on a server, Xpenv's key doesn't actually exist anywhere. Not on a server, not on the blockchain, nowhere. It is only generated the exact second a micropayment in XLM cryptocurrency hits the specific wallet address of your recipient. Without that confirmed payment, the message is just useless cryptographic trash forever.
The manifesto goes deep into the cryptography here to prove this point. It clarifies that the key requires 3 precise elements: your public key, the recipient's public key, and that confirmed transaction hash. Because of this exact math, literally no one else can generate the key. Not the sender after the fact, not a blockchain validator, and not even the creator of Xpenv. The source insists there are 0 backdoors. To break this without paying, you'd literally have to break the physics of modern math.
Let's look at Section 3, the end of eternal history and disappearing text.
This is where we see a huge contrast. While your typical free apps hoard your history forever on vulnerable cloud servers, Xpenv is completely ephemeral.
The text details that once a message is paid for, decrypted, and read, the plain text vanishes in exactly 5 minutes. It's wiped from the screen, scrubbed from your computer's RAM, and completely erased from the world. The source compares it to a real closed-door conversation. You speak, they hear it, and it's gone without a trace.
All right, moving to Section 4, the price of digital sovereignty and the filter.
Now you might be wondering about the cost of all this. The author addresses this head-on. Yes, there is a fee, but it's literally cents, less than a cup of coffee. But here's the really fascinating part. The manifesto explicitly states this cost is not a barrier, it's a deliberate filter. It exists to keep out the bots, the spam, mass surveillance, and casual users. The text argues that if you aren't willing to pay a few cents, you either don't have anything worth protecting, or you just don't realize you're being robbed of your data yet.
So who is this actually for? The source provides a very specific list. It's for journalists protecting anonymous sources, lawyers handling classified documents, doctors with highly sensitive patient data, executives closing massive $50 million deals where a leak ruins everything, and activists living under oppressive regimes. It is framed as a serious surgical tool for absolute secrecy. And the manifesto is completely unapologetic about who it is not for. It states plainly, Xpenv is not for everyone. It has no desire for billions of users or an IPO or mass corporate appeal. If you just want to send cute good morning stickers to your family group chat, the author practically yells at you to stay on the other apps. They flat out refuse to compromise their extreme mathematical security for mass market convenience.
Which brings us to the source's final provocative challenge. The manifesto concludes by claiming the system wants you docile, grazing on free apps while they make billions farming your digital soul. So, you're left with a stark choice regarding your digital sovereignty. Do you prefer to remain cattle in the pasture, or will you pay the price of a coffee, break the gate, and take your privacy back? It's a highly uncomfortable, deeply memorable question that really forces you to rethink the true cost of everything we call free on the internet.